What's happening, everybody? Y'all staying warm in 2018? It's been a wee bit frigid in the Northeast as of late, in case you haven't heard. Jesus. And now the supposed winter wonderland looks more like frozen mud mountains with trash sprinkled throughout, and the remaining white is mostly yellow from all the dog piss. It's not quite as pretty as it was when it was originally coming down. In any case, my guest today is Michael Dahlström of Swedish hardcore band Godmother. I was able to check out the Scorching set at St Vitus when they came through, one of two shows that they played in New York. Shout out to St Vitus, as always, for helping me out with these podcasts. It was just such a killer show, man. It's a lot of energy, high energy, youthful high energy, I would say. Rambunctiousness. In any case, we get into opening for Dillinger Escape Plan on one of their three last shows, signing with Party Smasher Inc., our mutual confusion when hearing and seeing Dillinger Escape Plan for the first time, and, you know, just blast beats, bus wrecks, first times being in New York, his amazing grandfather, and Michael's work recording, engineering, and mixing on his own records, plus all the really cool places that Godmother's been able to tour as of yet, and a really bizarre Czech Forest Festival. Oh, and last but not least, a quick lesson in absurd Swedish phrases. So stay tuned for that. And stay warm out there, or in here, or wherever you are. Hypothermia is no good. Good Lord. Crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
All right, I'm here with Michael Dahlström. I got it right? Dahlström?
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, man, I'm feeling Swedish already. This is amazing. Congratulations. I should say your band, Godmother, not to be confused with my friend's band from Brooklyn, Godmaker. In my mind, I'm like Godmother, Maker, Father. It's hard. I get mixed up with things.
Band names are confusing and difficult.
Absolutely. Well, congrats on the new record, man. Vilseled.
Yeah.
It's an awesome record, great production, great drumming, super heavy, awesome guitar tones, great record all around. Tell us a little bit about this trip that y'all are on right now, coming down to New York for just a week, because from my understanding, y'all played a pretty incredible show for your first time in New York.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, it's pretty cool to be here. We did open up for a Dillinger Escape Plan on their not the last one, but the first
of the three.
First of the last three ones.
Right.
And the one with Mike Patton. So
that's unreal.
It was pretty cool. A pretty cool place, Terminal 5, like 3,000 people. So
wow.
It's a bit bigger than we're used to.
I bet. That's a hell of a first show to come into New York.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So we did that, and now we're here at St Vitus, where we're doing this interview. We're gonna play here today in a couple of hours. It's really cool place, and I'm super excited.
Nice. Came into New York for a week to play a couple of awesome shows.
Yeah.
Where are y'all staying right now?
We're staying at like central of Manhattan, like the Watson Hotel.
Okay.
It's like on 57th Street, 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
It's like in America, all the streets are so parallel, like it's really easy to find everywhere.
Well,
like,
Manhattan certainly is, because it's on a number grid, you know. So like the grid is just it's very navigatable, you know.
Yeah.
Is this your first time in New York?
Yeah, my first time.
Really?
Only our guitar player had been here before, so it's been our tourist guide when we had the days off.
Nice.
Showing the rest of us around, and it's been really nice.
Where have y'all gone that you enjoyed in walking around New York?
We've been pretty much everywhere. We like really try to go in for the touristic stuff.
Did y'all do like the ferry and see the Statue of Liberty, that shit?
No, we didn't take the ferry. We just saw it from. We walked around and like at the area of that bull statue kind of thingy.
Yeah.
Saw it from there.
Down in the financial district.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's cool. Brooklyn is really nice. It's a bit more softer vibe.
Yes.
To it.
Absolutely.
Than Manhattan.
I've been commuting into Manhattan for work. I've been in New York now for 12 years, and I'm so over it. I wish somehow that I could just work in Brooklyn, and then I would avoid the city.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. We walked on Times Square today.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people at same place. I think.
Oh, I worked in Times Square. It was fucking awful, man. It would drive me every day. It was like, it's just too many people, man, to have to see those. And then you're on the subway and it's packed, and then you get off, and then you're bumping into people when you get. It feels claustrophobic, man. It's too much.
Yeah, it's like twice as many people in New York as the whole of Sweden. So it's
wow.
It's a bit.
It's a lot. That's definitely a lot. Well, speaking of doing the Dillinger Escape Plan tour, or playing with them rather, tell me about how y'all hooked up with them, because correct me if I'm wrong, y'all did a show in Europe with Dillinger and Ben liked y'all, and then you ended up in Party Smasher. And
Yeah, so we recorded our album, the Vilseled, which we released now. It was some time ago, like, so after we were done, we were looking for a label. So we emailed Party Smasher, like one of the labels. We decided to email first because we liked him. So, and by our surprise, they actually answered and said like, your album sounds good, but we're not signing any new bands right now because like we're doing all this final tour stuff, and like, but keep in touch and we'll see where we're going.
And that was with the first full length that you sent them?
It was this one actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So here's the twist. I saw that they were playing in Sweden, and they didn't have a support band for the show. So I just emailed like, by the way, like, see you're playing here in like a couple of weeks. Do you need a support band for the show? And it happened so that they didn't have a support band planned.
What?
So we got the spot for both the Stockholm and the Gothenburg show, just like that. And that was the only thing. We didn't talk about signing or anything.
Wow.
So after the show, first we did the Stockholm show, and then we did the Gothenburg show the day after. And after the second show, like, Ben just walked out on stage, like, after our set, like, yeah, come backstage to our backstage after the show, and we're gonna talk. So we're like, okay, something's going on. And then he told us he really liked our album, and he was so impressed by our live performance that he wanted to sign us, even though they like didn't really have time for it, but they were going to do it anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. And then we got, then they got in the horrible bus crash, like the day after we played with them in Gothenburg, because we left, went back to Stockholm.
Right.
And then we're going to play in Poland.
Right.
So the rest of the tour got cancelled.
Wow.
And then we got asked because they rebooked the whole European tour.
Yeah.
So we got asked if we wanted to join that, like the 5 weeks that was left on the tour. So we did that. So we played with them 5 weeks in Europe.
Whoa.
So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing, man. Had you seen them prior to going out on tour with them?
I've seen them a couple of times in Sweden when I've been before, and like it's been one of my main influence and like favorite bands for a long time. So it was really cool.
Yeah, you've seen them more than I have, but you got to tour with them, so that's an exception. For someone who did not get to tour with them, I saw them the second of the 3 shows, and that was my 16th time seeing them. So I tell the story every now and again that the first time I saw them, they opened up for Mr. Bungle on the California tour that they did in the States. And I knew nothing about them, never even heard of them. And so needless to say, I was shocked when I saw them, knowing nothing about them. It was like, what the fuck is going on here? And why are these kids so rambunctious? Holy shit. It was just so volatile and spastic and like mind-melting. I couldn't figure out what the fuck Chris Penny was doing. I had never heard anything like that. I had no frame of reference for it. I didn't understand it. But I was like, I was intrigued for sure, but I was like, I don't know how he's doing that. And, you know, I know only a little bit more now, you know?
It was like the same for me. I bought Miss Machine when it came out.
Okay.
2004.
I think it was. It was 2004 or 5, somewhere around there.
And I was quite young back then. I like listened mostly to Iron Maiden and like Metallica and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like listened to it and I like, this is cool, but I have no fucking idea what they're doing. So I had the record and like didn't listen to it that much maybe, and then I heard, you know, Meshuggah, the Swedish band. I started getting the concept of like polyrhythms.
Right.
After I understood Meshuggah, I kind of went back to Dillinger and like, now I understand what they're doing.
A little more, yeah.
So, and I'm like, oh shit, this is really, really good.
Fuck yeah.
So... that's kind of how I got into them, I guess.
Right.
And then I saw them live, like, and couldn't understand how they were like doing all the things they're doing live while playing this like super complex music. Overall, amazing band.
Dude, that's like a kind of like a dream come true, man. It sounds like, you know, you found them, you were getting your mind blown by them, then you were getting into Meshuggah as well, and then here you are, y'all end up signing with Ben's label and touring with them. That's pretty sick. And coming into the States to play one of the 3 last shows. That's an awesome cycle of events, man.
Yeah, it's been, as you say, like a dream come true. It's like we've been a band for 5 years, so we've been like on a slow, steady, upward going trend, I guess. But you know, used to playing basement hardcore shows, like house shows, whatever.
Yeah.
For a lot of years, and then we got to do the Dillinger, and it's been escalating pretty quickly from now. So
definitely great exposure. I mean, they're at the height of their exposure right now, so, and y'all coming right in on that, and that's awesome timing.
For sure.
Well, speaking of drumming, when did you start playing, man? You were saying you started playing pretty damn young.
Yeah, I got my first drum kit when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
My grandfather is a professional musician. So he
what does he play?
Piano.
Oh wow.
So he's been. His band actually celebrated 70 years as a band.
70.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So yeah, he's still touring.
What?
He's 90.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No. Yeah.
What kind of music do they play?
Now they play like this, I don't know, kind of Swedish old school dance music. Like, it's not. Yeah, they used to be like a jazz band in the 50s, 60s, playing all the hip clubs in Sweden. Like,
whoa!
Before there were DJs, you know, there were bands playing at clubs actually.
Yeah.
So my grandfather's band did that for many years.
That's amazing.
So he's really musical and like wanted to keep the musicality going in the family. Because my mom, who's the kid of my grandfather, didn't really play anything, so he bought a drum kit and teach me to play piano and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. So I started I've been playing almost all instruments for a long time, like guitar and bass and piano and drums. So yeah, I'm 28 now, so I've been playing for 24 years already.
Wow. That's amazing. Not even 30, and it must feel like you've just been playing drums your whole life then.
Yeah, basically. I never actually took any lessons in drums.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
I just got a drum kit. I got this full-size but kind of small drum kit, like this jazz kit, 18-inch bass drum. And
do you still have it to this day?
I actually sold it last year.
Really?
Yeah, I have it all. I have too many drum kits.
I hear you. How many do you have presently?
Now I have 3 full kits, so I hadn't enough space to have 4.
I hear you. I have 3 kits as well, 2 in New York and 1 down in New Orleans still. So I hear you. It could be too much sometimes.
Yeah, but I never took any lessons. I just had my kit in my room, and my parents were really nice letting me play. We grew up in a house,
right?
And the neighbors weren't too close, so could play drums at home. So I just play drums every day at home, and listening to Metallica, Iron Maiden, and playing that stuff. And learning, teaching myself.
That's amazing.
And then I started bands. I don't know how many bands I've been playing with, but not that many worth mentioning, though.
Right, that's the way it goes sometimes. I've mentioned not too long ago that I dug up one of my first cassette tapes. It was my first recording, and God, man, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. It's embarrassing.
I always get anxiety listening to old stuff. Oh, this is so bad. Why did I do this?
Hey, man, and your parents had to put up with that shit as well the whole time, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's great that they were supportive, though.
Yeah, for sure. Also in Sweden, we have this kind of. It's a lot of bands and this music scene is kind of big. So it's a good country to grow up in playing music. I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Is Sweden, do they have a thing? I was talking to the drummer at Trap Them, rest in peace Trap Them, and he was saying that in Norway, I believe, he said that the state will fund you as a professional musician, or like there are like grants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does Sweden have some of that going as well?
There are some of that. Like you can get like when you are a touring band, you could get like it's not everyone who gets it, but you can get like I don't know what the English translation is, but money for it, like for a travel expenses paid and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Like you have to apply for it, and then like some bands get it, some
won't.
We haven't got it as a band,
right?
But I actually recently, a couple of weeks ago, got like $3,000 maybe for being a songwriter in like a band. So it's really weird. Like they have like this. It's called STIM. It's like the if you're writing music, like you get paid for like they're playing your song on radio or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
In the States, I guess we have like ASCAP, BMI. You can perform belong to those or whatever and get paid.
So they have like scholarships for like people who write music. So I applied for it this year with our new album because I wrote a couple of songs. And I got it. So it was really nice. Like
that's amazing.
Some free money, tax free.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what your governmental situation is over there. It sounds quite supportive and progressive, but obviously here in the States we have a bit of a fucking dumbass for a president. But it's amazing to hear that the state would be so proactive and so supportive of artists. That's such a foreign idea that just does not exist in the States.
Yeah.
We can barely keep music programs in schools. Like we're at that level.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because this country's filled with creative people and awesome musicians and artists and everything, It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit more, I guess, socialistic in Sweden. The whole system.
Right.
Yeah. But it's cool.
Have you seen, it's a funny thing, man, when I think of like death metal and black metal, I think of like the Scandinavian countries and all that stuff. But it's hilarious seeing it in like Brooklyn, Because whereas in my mind, I'm like, Sweden, it's like a bunch of Vikings and you have witches flying around and shit like that. That's what I think of Sweden. Swedish bikini team, Swedish vodka. I don't know. These are the things that I associate with Sweden. Meshuggah. And then here in the States, or like especially in like Brooklyn, if you go and see like a black metal band, it's hilarious that you'll see them. They'll have like tight white jeans and boat shoes on and like handlebar mustaches and bifocals with slicked back hair. It's like hipster black metal.
Yeah. It's the new wave of like the Deaf Heaven wave.
Right. Exactly. Case in point. Going back to drumming, man. The first record, first full length, that record sounded great. Did y'all go to the same people for Vilselet as well? Same studio, same engineer mixing?
It's like, actually, I recorded everything.
Really?
Yeah. With some help of my friend Staffan Birkedal, who helped record the drums, because it's hard to record
your own drums.
Yeah. So we recorded. I work as a sound technician.
Gotcha.
So I have all the previous stuff. I have recorded and mixed pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it ourselves this time around as well, because we weren't signed to a label and didn't have that much money.
Yeah.
But we rented this really nice studio for the drums. It's called Soundtrade Studios in Stockholm. It's probably like one of the best studios in Sweden.
Wow.
But we got a really good price because I studied at that studio, so we got a good price for renting the 2 days for recording drums.
Awesome.
So got my friend Staffan to do a cheap job, really good.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So we recorded drums there, and it sounds great. Like it's a huge drum room. So
I saw some video of it. It looks awesome.
And then we recorded like the bass in another studio, and the guitar in another studio, and the vocals in our rehearsal space.
Right.
But engineered by me, I guess.
Nice.
And then we decided to. First time I was not gonna mix it because it's kind of hard to mix your own band. Like everyone wants to like put their input, and it's just better to leave it to someone else.
I agree.
You do your thing, and it's gonna sound like it's gonna sound. So we hired Magnus Lindberg. He's the drummer in Cult of Luna.
Oh wow!
If you know them.
Yes.
So he did a great job.
He mixed Vilseled.
Yeah, he mixed and mastered it.
Oh wow, mix
Yeah.
and mastering.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Usually you go to mastering, it's kind of the same thing. You kind of want a separate set of ears for the mastering, so
Yeah.
you go to a second person for the
We
mastering.
were thinking about that as well, but he's like he's actually as much of a mastering engineer as a mixing engineer. So he usually does both.
Right.
And he has like this really nice studio, like just mixing mastering studio, like with a small recording room in Stockholm.
Yeah.
So went there for the mixing, and it was really easy process. Mixed everything in 4 days, and came out great.
Oh, it sounds badass, man. The guitars sound great. The drums sound great. It's just a killer sounding record.
Yeah, we really wanted to go for the organic sound. Like we have no triggers or samples or
That's the way to do it.
no reamping or like
Right.
anything like that. So everything is as we play it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I'm kind of tired of this over-processed, quantized samples.
Sucks the life out of it.
Yeah.
And and I've seen bands live where I'm like, okay, so I see what y'all did on the record, because you're not necessarily that good at executing it live.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much shit did you do in the studio? You know, just play it. Figure
Yeah.
out how to play it, man.
Yeah. I agree for
Yeah.
sure.
I got a story for you. I was telling my buddy that I spoke to from Germany as well about it. I did a little tour with a band, and we went from Germany into the Czech Republic. And when we stopped to show our passports, the guard was like, "Are you in the band?" And I said, "Yes, yes." He says, "Who is the drummer?" And I was like, "I am." And he said, "Do you play blast beat?" And I was like, I don't. And he was like, He was so sad. He was like, "What kind of drummer does not play blast beat?" I was like, "Fuck, man. How about some other shit? What the fuck do you play? You're just checking my passport, you dickhead." So here's my question: when did you start getting into blast beats?
Fairly quickly, I guess. I always been drawn to like heavy music, fast music, I guess.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I like my first musical memory at all is like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Oh, awesome.
That album. My dad showed it to me when I was, I don't know, 4 maybe.
That's what started it. It started it all,
yeah.
huh?
And like the outro riff, like on Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, that was the gateway drug to everything.
Absolutely.
I started, and then I got into like Iron Maiden, Metallica, and all that stuff, and played that for some years, and then I got over to Slayer and Cannibal Corpse, and
Faster and faster.
Yeah, and so I don't know at what age, but I've been playing fast music for a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you definitely got some blast beats happening. There's no shortage of them with this band.
Yeah, it's try to keep it short and fast and heavy and to the point, I guess.
I hear you. Now, with you mentioned your fiance. Congratulations on your engagement. What does she think about your music, and what do your parents think about your music?
Well, they are supportive, but
they're not necessarily driving around in the car listening to the record over and over.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my girlfriend. She usually comes to the shows, and she's like. Enjoys the show, like the intensity and the energy, and she gets like people having fun, but I don't think she understands the music really. And,
I'm sure.
And the same goes for my parents, I guess.
Right.
Like, they don't come to shows that often, but they've been supportive for like forever. And like also my dad now in like the later years, he's been like following us on Facebook and like looking at other bands in our genre, and like I don't know, he's getting into it a little bit maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, it's not their cup of tea maybe. Yeah.
Supportive nonetheless.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, when I first met my now wife, I told her that I was a drummer, but I play in his heavy band as well. And I was like, God, I wonder if there's just some way I cannot even let her ever hear it. I feel like at the time I was like, when she hears this, it might affect her perception of me. Like, what kind of psycho plays this shit, But she heard it, and same thing. She's supportive, but I'm sure she's like, it drives her a little crazy.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes. Well, man, we're coming up on a new year. What do y'all have going on in 2018? Are y'all coming back to the States?
I hope so. We're like in this phase of trying to plan everything right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We have the first thing we got a tour in Ireland coming up really soon. Like
Awesome.
we're just home like a week, and then we go for a short tour in Ireland, 5 shows. And then we got a festival coming up, Complexity Fest in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And we got a South Africa tour coming up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the second time around.
How is South Africa?
It's really, really nice. We've been there. We was there 2 years ago, and it was a really good time. We had this guy called Richard who booked us there, and he's an awesome guy. And it was an amazing tour. Like the music scene there, I didn't know it existed. The hardcore scene in South Africa.
Right.
It's like small but dedicated.
Wow.
And like there's not too many bands that tour South Africa.
Yeah.
And there's not too many bands in South Africa, so there's kind of a shortage on bands. So like people really appreciate it when you come there.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's like the opposite of Sweden, because we have so many bands. Like no one gives a shit. So it was really cool, and I'm really excited to come back.
That's sick, man. Where's one of your favorite places that music has brought you? What's one of the coolest countries or coolest cities?
We've done a lot of cool stuff actually already. Like South Africa, definitely up there.
Yeah.
And we did a tour in Central America.
No shit.
4 years ago.
Where'd y'all go?
Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. And it was really interesting.
That's awesome.
It was not the countries you normally go on tour on, but it was really cool, and like the amazing landscape and all the amazing people you meet.
Costa Rica's beautiful.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and like just getting paid to travel around and do this shit is pretty awesome.
Sounds like it.
So we have a lot of tours like in the planning stages right now. Like those I mentioned are the ones that are confirmed, I guess.
Yeah.
Then we hopefully we get to come back and do a full US tour at some point next year. We have nothing booked yet, but like we're working on it, I guess.
Yeah, throw it out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And probably a full European tour at some point next year. And we just now talking to booker in doing an Asia tour next year in September. So we're probably gonna do like a pretty big Asia tour, like all over Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Taiwan.
That's amazing.
So yeah, this is gonna be really cool, actually.
Of the places you've been, what's one of the strangest shows you've played?
Oh, good question. And I have to say, like, we played this really strange festival in Czech Republic once. Like, it was in the middle of the forest. Like, it was this town. There was 500 people living in the town. We thought we like drove to the wrong place because there was no one there. And like in the middle of the woods, they had put up like this diesel thingy for the electricity.
Generator.
Yeah, generator. And they were like basically the whole town was there, and like they had like this grindcore festival. Like the whole town just listens to grindcore, and like
whoa, what?
Yeah, it was the strangest experience of my life. Like everyone was like, no matter age, like from like 10 to like 70.
What?
And like just grindcore, like gore grind bands were playing, and like everyone was like super drunk, super high. People were like wearing like AK-47s and go. It was just I don't know, the strangest experience ever.
Wow, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Well, man, thanks for talking to me. But before you go, I've been thinking of a good phrase to start off with in Swedish, and I have my friend. He speaks Japanese, so I'll ask you the same words and say it back to me in Swedish.
All right.
I want to make party in your vagina.
I want to make party in your vagina. Okay. Jag vill festa I din fitta.
Nice. I wish I could say that back to you. I might have to get you to reiterate it one more time before the night's over.
That sounds really bad in Swedish, though. Should probably edit that out.
No way, man. It was good. Oh, shit. Well, Mike, thanks for talking to me, man. Much appreciated. Look forward to hearing y'all tonight. Blast some fucking blasting hardcore.
Thanks for having me. Really, real nice.
Thanks for tuning in as always, and thanks to Michael for catching up with me. And congrats to Godmother for putting on one hell of a show and putting out 2 really badass records. I really look forward to them coming back through the States and getting a glimpse of yet another insane live show that they're able to put on. If you haven't seen them yet, just go do it. There's no shortage of awesome, ridiculous energy with those dudes, that's for sure. So until next time, adios, muchachos. Crash, bang, boom.